Up next, funnel clouds reported in the Chicago area. We are under a tornado watch. Could a body discovered in McHenry County be that of a missing 11-year-old girl? And a serial killer explains how crimes against animals can lead to crimes against people. I'm Nesita Kwan. Blasts of rain, winds of up to 50 miles an hour, and reports of tornadoes touching down. Severe weather moving through Chicago. We'll have the latest information.
NBC5 Chicago. Now live. This is the NBC5 News at 10.
Strong winds, heavy rains, lightning, and reports of funnel clouds. Violent storms are moving through the Chicago area tonight, downing trees and power lines. ComEd reports that 50,000 people have no power tonight. Hello, I'm Nesita Kwan. Tonight, spring storms hit Chicago, causing havoc throughout parts of Chicagoland. We have team coverage for you with NBC5's Tracy Haynes in Linwood with storm damage, plus Brant Miller tracking the storm in the Weather Center. But first, let's go to Batavia, a western suburb of the city where there are reports of a tornado touchdown. Reporter Amy Jacobson joins us live. Amy?
Well, Nesita, it has been a nasty, tumultuous evening. I'm actually in Aurora on Randall Road where a witness spotted a tornado. They said it touched down here. Of course, it caused a power outage in the area. The traffic lights have been knocked out. And as you can see, it forced police officers to set up these makeshift stop signs at the corner of Randall and Indian Trail. For hours tonight, very bright lightning illuminated the skies. In Gurnee, siding was stripped off homes and roofs. Strong winds shook vehicles and blew limbs off the trees. In Batavia, nearby Batavia, a funnel cloud and strong winds knocked down power lines, forcing police to close down streets. Many people took shelter in their basements of their homes, including Walter Geiser and his son.
My sister Gloria called me from a southern suburb and told me that there was a funnel cloud reported between Randall Road and Batavia Avenue. And as she said that, my heart about dropped. We all went into the basement. And it got really dark, and then I seen the trees shaking like you wouldn't believe out here.
Now take a look at this in Elgin. After the storm blew through, this beautiful rainbow emerged. It was a perfect arch, and it had many people outside looking at the rainbow. Now live back here, police and authorities are still assessing the damage of these storms, but there have been no reports so far of any injuries, only reports of a number of power outages, downed trees and downed power lines. Of course, a report of funnel clouds in the area and a tornado that allegedly touched here on Randall Road in Aurora. And with more on this severe weather, let's go now to meteorologist Brant Miller, who's in the Weather Center with the latest. Brant?
And thanks a lot, Amy. Let's go to Storm Tracker. We can show you what's going on. We still have a tornado watch in effect for the Chicago area from Interstate 80 southward, and that's right here. Here's Interstate 80. You can still see some strong thunderstorms. There's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Kankakee County. That's valid till 11 o'clock tonight. Also, we've just received a new one for Grundy County and northern Livingston County. This line of thunderstorms here, all of this is moving off to the east and southeast and sagging very slowly to the south. So the southern suburbs still in line for some strong, perhaps even severe weather. The northern suburbs seeing a rather quiet weather pattern tonight. We'll show you the amazing number of lightning strikes in just a few minutes on the weather segment. That's coming up here at NBC5. Nesita?
All right, Brant, and we did send Tracy Haynes out to Linwood where there is some storm damage, as we understand. We're trying to get a live shot for you from there. And again, 50,000 people are without power in the Chicago area tonight. Brant will be back a little later in the newscast for an update on the weather. And to our other top story, a body found along a McHenry County river may be that of a missing 11-year-old girl. 10 days ago, Brittany Martinez disappeared from in front of her home in Elgin. The body was found yesterday along the Kishwaukee River near the town of Union. Tonight, there's no confirmation that the body is Brittany's. Her family prays that it's not. One who was found along the Kishwaukee River. Canoeists found the body yesterday in a remote part of McHenry County. Police confirmed that it's a juvenile, a young white woman, and the body had no obvious signs of trauma. Police say the body had been in the water for some time, but they don't know for how long. And until there's an autopsy Monday, that's all the family knows.
There isn't a minute, there isn't a second go by that you aren't praying all the time. And the prayers in this community and throughout the whole world, you can feel it.
And tonight, McHenry County authorities say that there is another young woman, you're looking at her right now, who's been missing since late February. That's 16-year-old Wendy Von Huben of Woodstock. That missing persons report will be part of this investigation. Brittany's family heard about the discovery of the body over a CB radio last night around 10 o'clock. Here's some background on the case. Brittany disappeared from her home, from her Elgin home, over a week ago. Since then, there have been massive searches on ground and from the air. And then, as we've said, the body was found in McHenry County yesterday.
The only thing that was coming across is that they had found a female body, and that was it. I mean, nothing spectacular, but like I said, if it's not Brittany, it's somebody else's daughter. And I mean, this is sad.
Stay tuned to NBC5 for the latest as authorities work to positively identify the body found along that river. We'll begin with first thing in the morning at 5:30 tomorrow morning. Another reported sighting of suspected serial killer Andrew Cunanan turns out to be a false alarm. It happened in Philadelphia, where a travel agent thought a person buying a ticket to Mexico looked like Cunanan. There have been several reported sightings along the East Coast since the murder of a cemetery caretaker was blamed on Cunanan a week ago. And now back to our story about the storm that we have had here in Chicago. Residents in the southern part of the city will probably be waking up to downed trees and damage tomorrow morning. The storm swept through the area near Linwood with incredible force. We understand that NBC5's team coverage of the story continues with Tracy Haynes live in Linwood. Tracy, what kind of damage are you seeing out there?
Well, Nesita, we've seen some trees that have been knocked down here. There are emergency crews here. We are at, by the way, we're at 201st and Lakewood. There are emergency crews here. Also, you can see and hear this backloader here, which is moving a tree that has fallen. Some crews came out with their chainsaws. They saw the tree in pieces, and they tried to move the tree out of the way. Now, many of the people we talked to today said that they saw a funnel cloud, and I wanted to talk with one gentleman here. His name is Dwayne Shepard, and he is a resident here in this neighborhood. Mr. Shepard, what did you see this evening?
Sir, right along about 8 o'clock this evening, we came home from church, and my son and I saw the funnel come down between Park and Terrace around 199th, and it tore half the block up over there. Then it must have came up in the air and came down here and it hit this house right here.
So was this funnel very close to your street here? Was it right near where you are now?
Yes.
Yeah. How did you and your family fare through this?
It was a scary situation.
But everybody is okay with you?
Everybody is okay, yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shepard, for talking with us tonight. Now, we understand that there are a number of houses which are damaged. We saw one in which the roof was completely ripped away. We talked to a couple of police officers here who tell us that there is actually looting going on here in the area. So the police are saying that they want people to stay in their homes if they are at home. If they're not home, but they're coming to this area here in Linwood, they need to get to that area and stay there and don't come outside until the situation is buttoned down. We're reporting live. Tracy Haynes, NBC5 News. Back to you, Nesita.
All right, Tracy, thank you. He's dubbed the Happy Face Killer. Just ahead, NBC5's Phil Rogers tells us why this man, the man you're about to see, and other serial murderers kill. Also, Brant Miller is keeping an eye on the weather. He'll have the latest on the conditions outside. And next, tragedy strikes graduation day at the University of Virginia as a balcony collapses. One person is dead and 20 others were injured when a balcony collapsed at graduation ceremonies in Virginia today. It happened at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville just 15 minutes before graduation ceremonies were to begin. Witnesses say there were only about half a dozen people on the balcony when it gave way, but many more people were underneath that balcony.
I was standing on top of the stairs over there, right on the edge of the balcony, and I guess it came down, the balcony came down and clunked me in the head and clunked me in the shoulder.
Officials say a rusted support rod gave way. President Clinton is challenging graduates and researchers with a new national goal to develop an AIDS vaccine within 10 years. The president gave the commencement address at Morgan State University in Baltimore. Mr. Clinton says the world is entering what he calls the age of biology, and finding an AIDS vaccine can be the first great triumph of this new age. A nearly lost work of art is restored tonight at Flower Vocational High School. This mural depicting outstanding American women was painted in the late 1930s by Edward Millman. It was painted over in the 40s, but a year-long restoration brought it back. The mural depicts Susan B. Anthony, Harriet Tubman, and Clara Barton, among others. It's been a night of violent weather. An update on the forecast will be straight ahead.
I'm Phil Rogers. Coming up, we'll introduce you to a serial killer who offers a warning on how people like him can be spotted early enough to make a difference.
You're looking at lightning data over the last hour. Over 800 strikes in the south suburbs. We'll show you a real group of lightning strikes coming up.
Wouldn't it be great if there was an early warning system for people in society who are going to go bad so they can get the help they need? Many experts say there is, if only police and the courts will heed the telltale signs. NBC5's Phil Rogers joins us with more. Phil?
You know, Nesita, 2 years ago, we first reported on the research which indicated that many violent killers had been animal abusers as children. But all too often, animal abuse is treated as a property crime, similar to vandalism, with even police saying simply, boys will be boys. Well, while preparing this update, we came across a classic case in Oregon that seems to support the research. A serial killer warning parents, don't let your children turn out like me. It all unfolded here in the shadow of the Oregon State Prison, when a group of local high school students beat this cat to death, only to have their football coach defend them in the local paper. Let's put this in perspective, he said. It was a foolish act that cost a dumb animal his life. Letters of outrage poured in, and the most outraged of all was this one, from another animal abuser, an inmate at the prison, Keith Jesperson.
When I read the morning paper with my coffee, I couldn't believe that Mr. Jesperson wrote that letter to the Statesman Journal.
The shock, you see, is that Keith Jesperson is not just an animal abuser. He's also someone you might consider the worst of the worst, a serial murderer known as the Happy Face Killer.
Why do you kill people?
Because it's easy. It gave me a thrill. You jump straight into it, and it's like it's nothing. I mean, they become nothing to me. They become inanimate objects.
Jesperson has been convicted of 3 murders, is under investigation for 5 more, he admits, but he claims to have killed scores of others.
I went and traveled this country back and forth, up and down, all over, and I was killing people and getting away with it. Here I killed my last victim was my fiancée.
Jesperson was known for taunting authorities with letters emblazoned with smiling faces, but his letter about the cat, about his own animal abuse, was deadly serious. All this did, he says, was spawn in me the urge to kill again.
An animal was harder to lure towards myself. A human being is an easy creature to kill.
Last week, we visited Jesperson in prison, accompanied by the nation's leading expert on animal abuse and violent crime, the Humane Society's Dr. Randall Lockwood.
How many animals do you figure you killed as a kid?
Oh, 50, 60. Take a stray cat, staple it to its paws to a plank, and sit back and throw knives at it.
Gophers, dogs, cats. Jesperson says he tortured and killed them all. Behavior which he says made his later crimes much easier.
Tell me about the progression in thinking from killing an animal to killing a person.
There's really no difference. Not in my eyes. There's no difference between killing a human being and killing an animal. I've already built myself into that state of mind where killing was just killing.
Dr. Lockwood's verdict that Jesperson, if his stories are true, is virtually a textbook case.
He has told an archetypal story of affection, violation of that affection, and anger that just grows and grows and grows.
But consider this. Even today, crimes against animals are felonies in only 17 states. Even Jesperson suggests society needs to be tougher with what it should see as a danger signal.
If you let them continue to start killing animals, eventually they're going to have this tolerance built up inside of them where a death means nothing. Starts giving them pleasure. It gave me pleasure for a long time.
Now, 2 important points. Keith Jesperson is thought to have killed at least 8 people. He claims 166. Most police believe the truth is somewhere in between. Plus, while the serial killers get all the headlines, experts in the field say actually domestic abuse is an even greater worry. For the reason they say that animal-abusing children should be put into immediate intensive counseling instead of being given a slap on the wrist. Nesita?
Thank you, Phil. If you were out in the roads today, you may have noticed a low rumbling sound. You should have heard a low rumbling sound there. It was 4,000 Harleys out for a Sunday drive. It was the Elgin Harley Owners Group raising money for the Little Angels home in Elgin. It's an annual fundraiser for the home for the retarded and disabled. And now to the weather, quite serious stuff. Reports of tornadoes touching down.
A busy night tonight.
Lots of lightning strikes.
And we'll show you the lightning strikes in just a second. If you were in a basement or an interior room, that's the place you should be when you see severe weather like this moving through Chicago. This is some videotape to show you what it looked like outside. You may have missed this. This is a series of time-lapse images. Watch how quickly we see this activity pushing in from the south, and you will just suddenly see a lot of rainfall moving toward Chicagoland. And this is the leading edge of those storms as they were sweeping toward Chicagoland throughout the afternoon. We won't wait to watch the window take the, let's just get to what's going on right now. Storm Tracker shows where we are still seeing the showers and thunderstorms. We have a tornado watch still in effect south of Interstate 80, and in Kankakee County still a severe thunderstorm warning until 11 o'clock tonight. This thunderstorm warning is in effect till 11, also the tornado watch till 11. That may be extended south of us, and we'll take a look at our weather tracker site that sits at Joliet Junior College. 79/100ths of an inch of moisture, over 3/4 of an inch of rain there. Temperature has fallen to 67. Their high temperature today there was 82 degrees. Here's what it looks like at O'Hare at this hour. The current reading there is holding in the 60s. We'll see temperatures in the 60s for a while tonight, then gradually falling off. Lightning strikes. Take a look at this. This was up until an hour and a half ago. There is the information from 3,500 lightning strikes, and that's a period of 2 hours up to about 8 o'clock this evening. So quite a bit of lightning with this weather system, and you can see why we have over 50,000 people in Chicagoland without electricity with that kind of lightning activity. All right, we'll advance and show you what we're seeing as far as temperatures at O'Hare at this hour. The current reading is 63. Still temperatures near 80 degrees, 81 in St. Louis, 73 out in Des Moines. There is still a cold front. This is a little trough that was ahead of the cold front that's touched off this thunderstorm activity. Here's the stuff this morning. Not much to it, but look what happened about 4:30, 5 o'clock. This began to fire up and continues to stretch out. And this line just doesn't end here. It continues all the way down to Texas. And as far as moisture in the atmosphere, here are the dew points. You can still see dew points that are in the 60s. So a lot of moisture still remaining in the atmosphere to fire those showers and thunderstorms south of Interstate 80. Let's look at the watch boxes quickly and give you an idea of what's going on. We still have the tornado watch box here for Chicagoland. That's valid till 11 o'clock tonight. And again, that's just south of Interstate 80, and still more watch boxes across the region. So it'll be a rough night tonight south of Chicago. Here you can see that line of showers and thunderstorms stretching all the way down into Oklahoma. Temperature-wise, what to expect tomorrow? 65, cooler air to the north. Our forecast for Chicago overnight tonight, we still have that tornado watch in effect south of Interstate 80. 58, 59, some lingering showers tomorrow, 65 degrees. Take a look at the next 5 days. I'll get out of the way, and you'll see that we've got cooler conditions and dry conditions for the first part of the week, 65 tomorrow. A little cooler at the lakefront on Tuesday. Nesita?
All right, Brand, thank you. Our sports department is on the road tonight. Tom Zenner at Planet Hollywood.
That's right, Nesita. You know, the waiting game is over for the Bulls. Now it's time for a basketball game. We finally know who their next victim will be. Coming up later in sports, we'll show you highlights from the Miami and New York game.
And you're looking up at Odyssey, what we showed you tonight. Up next, a star of the Odyssey explains how they made an old story new again.
Real-time closed captioning of NBC5 News is brought to you by your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Jiffy Lube service centers.
Well, the Bulls might be well rested, but our sports department's been working hard all night. Tom Zenner, you too.
It's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work, Nesita. You know, we have a full house here at Planet Hollywood. Everyone in anticipation of Dennis Rodman and Sports Sunday. But we're going to start off by telling you who the Bulls are going to play next in the playoffs. Their next victim is the Miami Heat. You know, the entire New York Knicks team will be sitting out the next round of the playoffs, not because of any fights or suspensions, but because the Heat knocked them out today. Game 7. Let's check out the highlights from Miami. The Heat had the home court advantage. New York shorthanded, no Starks, no Larry Johnson. They could have used him today. Chicago native Tim Hardaway, he was the difference. How about that pretty drive? Chris Childs got schooled. The Heat go on an 18-zip run in the first quarter. The Knicks try to hang, though. Patrick down low. He had 37 points, but the Knicks were down 17 at the break, and they could never recover because Hardaway wouldn't let them. He could not miss, hitting three-pointers from all over South Florida. Tim Hardaway had 38 points today. 6 of 10 on threes as the Heat win. Bring them on to Chicago, 101-90.
we just had to get it done. We got it done, and so I feel very good for our guys, especially Tim and Zoe, who played big the last couple of games, especially Hardaway in the third quarter.
Little baseball news here. The White Sox, have plenty of quality outfielders and not enough pitching. So today they traded Tony Phillips and Chad Kreuter to the Angels for Chuck McElroy and Jorge Fabregas. So they're going to get some help behind the plate and on the mound. Believe it or not, the White Sox are red hot right now. They've won 4 games in a row, including today. Albert Bell has a 15-game hitting streak. He's on fire. And he scored a couple runs today, too. Paco Martin singles in Albert, who tries to clothesline the catcher. Look at this. Look out of Albert's way. The Sox up 4-0 here in the 6th. Big Frank, he's on a tear. 4 for 4 today, hitting almost 700 against the A's this year, as the Sox go on to win today by a final score of 10-4. Meanwhile, the Cubs hosted the Giants on Beanie Baby Day at Wrigley. I'm bummed I didn't get a Beanie Baby. Shucks. Sammy Sosa was hotter than the Beanie Babies, though. He hits his 150th home run as a Cub in the first inning. A 2-run blast. The Cubs were up 3-0, but he wasn't done either. Game tied at 3 in the bottom of the 7th. Sammy to the rescue. Home run number 9 this year as the Cubs win today by a score of 5-3. Well, Tiger Woods graded his performance today as a C-, which is pretty scary because it was still good enough to win the golf tournament. Now, the king of the course was being followed around by the Duchess of York. Yeah, Fergie was following him all around the golf course today in Texas, but Tiger was the man. Here you see him. Not only the winner of the Byron Nelson Classic, but much to Fergie's delight, he tied the tournament record. He shot a 2 under 68, 17 under for the tournament, so he's now over $1 million in earnings for the year. You want to hear more? Listen to this. It's his 5th tournament win. He goes for 3 in a row next weekend in Fort Worth, Texas. No word yet if Fergie or Lady Di or Queen Elizabeth will be following him around there. On to some hockey. Game 2 of the Flyers and Rangers series. Eric Lindros gave Shane Curla a little taste of his elbow. Yum, yum, huh? Wayne Gretzky was awesome today. The great one scored 3 goals. His 10th playoff hat trick. This one put the Rangers up 4-3, and they hold on to win 5-4. That evens up that series at 1 game apiece. Finally, a couple notes here. A report in San Jose said Rick Majerus, the head coach for the Utah college basketball team, has interviewed for the Golden State Warriors job. And look out for San Antonio next year. The Spurs will have the #1 pick in the NBA draft. They won the lottery today in New Jersey. And finally, the Bears beat the Packers. Oh yeah, Reggie White is now a professional wrestler. And look who took him on tonight. Steve McMichael. With a little help with a briefcase here, he knocks out Reggie White. Count them out. 1, 2, 3. All right. Hey, the Bears beat the Packers, huh? It's only May. Take the wins when we can get them, right? And Nesita, I think Dave Wannstedt is going to have all the Bears bring briefcases to Lambeau Field this fall. Hey, it worked for Steve McMichael today. John Kelly, Dick Versace, Dennis Rodman. It's all coming up. Sports Sunday, live from Planet Hollywood. Back to you, Nesita.
10:35. All right, Tom. Tonight, many of you may have watched part 1 of the NBC miniseries, The Odyssey. Mighty men, menacing monsters, fearsome forces of nature. Quite a story. Many of the sights never seen before, especially when you're talking about high-tech special effects. But the story is actually more than 2,500 years old. Perhaps the tale of the world's first action hero.
That was the first one, and I think a Schwarzenegger movie is a part of Odyssey, and Gulliver Travels was a part of Odyssey. Robinson Crusoe is a part of Odyssey. There's a journey in all of us, and Homer just did it so well. I think it never could be done better ever again.
And part 2 airs tomorrow night. We'll have a final check on the weather when we come back, but first here's the winning lottery numbers.